Berkshire on ESPN. Catch the Sunday night baseball game between the Mets and the Astros. The Mets, of course, getting rid of high-priced veterans like Bobby Bonilla and Brett Saberhagen. The Astros, taking off in the second half, have made a run at the National League Central leading Cincinnati Reds. The Mets and the Astros will battle it out at 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Here's our Budweiser race recap now. And Wally Dallenbach is the leader at the end of 65 laps. We've had 6 lead changes, 2 caution periods, a total of 4 laps, and the average speed of the race is 102.092. That is a record. The previous record, 93.752, held set in 1994. There are the cars that have led a lap. Mark Martin, of course, has led the most. He is back in the pack, fighting his way up through after a pit stop under caution.
He is back up to 7th now.
And there are the cars that have dropped out of competition, including Strickland, Petty, Burton, Mass, Schrader, and also out of the race was Ron Fellows. And there is the interval between first and second. Wally Dallenbach enters turn 1, and there is and Rudd and Labonte.
Mark Martin makes a move to the inside of Darrell Waltrip, picks up a position, and now he follows Bobby Labonte heading to turn 2.
Martin up to 6th place. He hasn't had this experience today, Bob, of trying to come up through the field. And as we said early, it's tough to pass on this racetrack, even though he has a very fast race car.
Mark Martin is driving the same car that he drove here in 1990 and 91 and 92 and 93 and 94.
He likes that car.
He likes it.
Yeah. Well, they did.
It's been good to him.
Yeah, they brought a brand new car up here, brought this car up here, and he liked the old car the best. So they said, okay, we'll take it back.
Most of these guys running a Jericho transmission, which is straight cut gear transmission, and they'll brake with their left foot and not even use the clutch on a downshift like that. And these gearboxes are a real godsend to these guys.
A lot to think about out there, Dorsey.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot more than usual for these guys. A lot of shifting and braking going on. You mismatch a shift, get into a corner, it'll lock up the back wheels on the car and will spin you out just like pulling a handbrake. And Mark's on the move now.
That is not a battle for position. Jeremy Mayfield is 2 laps down in 27th, and Sterling was in 20th position, 1 lap down. And there is the leader once again, Wally Dallenbach. He has a 2.7-second lead on Jeff Gordon and a 5.6-second lead on 5th place Bobby Labonte. John Kernan has a report.
Bobby Wally Dallenbach, the leader's pit with Chris Hussey as crew chief, and he's having some problems with some fumes coming in the car, Chris. How's Wally doing out there?
He's not doing very good right now, believe it or not. He's complaining of some oil tank fumes. The oil tank's right there beside of him in a road race car. And Wally hasn't driven in a while. I'm sure he's become immune to that after a while. We may still have a problem with him, but he's gotten sick one time, and that's when he fell back a little earlier. But running up front's the best medicine he can get. And he said he's going to suck it up for this whole MBNA team and hopefully win this thing for us.
Well, we've seen him. He started to pull away. It looks like from our vantage point on pit road. Let's go further down pit road to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, I spoke with Dallenbach just prior to the race on our NASCAR Today show, and he was telling us, you know, today I really need to run well. This couldn't happen at a better time for me. He may possibly be getting ready to announce a Winston Cup team for next year. Early next week, he is going to meet with 2 different car owners, potential car owners. They're going to go visit some existing car owners and talk about forming their own team. So possibly next year, he'll run both the North American Touring Series on road courses as well as possibly a full season in Winston Cup.
Well, the best finish for this car that Dallenbach is driving today, and it's had 3 different this is the 3rd driver, Randy LaJoy and Jimmy Hensley. Its best finish this year was 12th at Bristol, so it's certainly on a record pace for this year. As you once again watch a Ram field summary showing you where everybody is.
And there's Jimmy Spencer in the Smoke and Joe's Ford number 23. And he was being shown a lap down a little bit earlier, but NASCAR has put him back on the lead lap. So apparently he beat the leaders back to the start-finish line or something anyway. Jimmy is being shown in the 16th position at the moment. 19 cars on the lead lap. And I mentioned also, we saw that encounter over there Shepard and Derek Cope, they're both back out there running. Derek is still in the lead lap, and Morgan Shepard is back out there, even though he's 5 laps down, being shown in 32nd position in the Xfinity Ford.
Good run for Ward Burton, who started at the back of the pack. He is now running up in 18th position, and Elton Sawyer spun, Dorsey.
Yeah, he sure did. Just came into the inner loop and got up on top of the curb. Car got out from under him, come through the grass right there, got on 2 wheels, and he's sitting off the racing line, but the car is stalled there. We'll have to see if Elton gets going.
I don't know whether this would bring out a caution or not if he can't get the car going. He's not on the racetrack per se, and he may be able to drive. Yeah, it looks like he may be able to drive away when he gets clearance here.
Yeah, there's so many cars coming by now, he can't pull it back out there. Just look, the train just keeps on coming, and no opening there. So he's got the car moving. You can see that.
I'll talk about losing track position now.
And folks, you see that yellow flag waving over there? On road courses, they use yellow flags on particular parts of the racetrack, and the drivers were told in the drivers' meeting when that flag is waving vigorously, that means that there's trouble in that particular turn. That does not mean that there is a full course caution, and there certainly is not at this time.
And guys, Mark Martin is already up to 4th. He's gotten around Bobby Labonte and Terry Labonte, and is closing on Rudd and Gordon. So Mark Martin back up to 4th now. We work lap 73.
The laps are winding down. Just 17 to go in the Bud at the Glen. Right now in command of this race is Wally Dallenbach. We'll be right back. 400, certainly a memorable event in its second year with all the rain. You'll be able to pick up some merchandise by watching Shop Talk after our broadcast. Mark Martin has moved to 3rd, and there are the point leaders and where they are running right now. Gordon running 2nd, Marlin back in 20th, Earnhardt all the way back to 26th, and Mark Martin is 3rd, and Ted Musgrave 14th. So really, Gordon and Martin are the only ones that are having particularly good days, and we also might mention that Rusty Wallace, who is 6th in points, has fallen 2 laps down to 30th position. What is the situation now regarding fuel? Now, most of these guys did come in during that second caution and top off, but Jeff Gordon did not.
No, I don't think Dallenbach came in either during that last top off, so they would be the ones in question. However, their crews felt they might be able to make it. What about it, Jerry? Any recalculation there?
I don't think there's any concern down pit road toward the Valvoline pits. They feel pretty comfortable. Most people down that end are okay. The only concern down here might be Jeff Gordon. Remember, he opted not to come down pit road and top off his tanks. I spoke with Ray Abraham, and Ray, being the comedian he is, said, hey, you know, Doc, I think we're okay. We're going to run out somewhere between lap 89 and lap 91. We hope it's closer to 91, because we only have to run 90 and get the checkered flag, but it's going to be very, very close for the DuPont team.
I don't think we can count Mark Martin out of this race by any means. He is trailing Jeff Gordon right now in 3rd position, and there's quite an interval between 1st and 2nd, but still, Mark Martin might be able to make it up with the 15 laps that we have remaining.
And Earnhardt's problems continue. A lot of smoke coming from the Goodrich Chevrolet right now as he moves around Todd Bodine. Don't know if he's maybe over-revved the engine somewhere, or what the situation might be with Earnhardt's car. Of course, we've reported that he has a transmission problem, and it could be heating up. The transmission maybe getting a lot of heat there running in that 3rd gear, even though they run. Most of them run a cooler on the transmission here.
And there is Rusty Wallace, who we just mentioned has fallen 2 laps down to 30th spot. Rusty was certainly in the hunt for the win here this afternoon until a collision coming out of the pit area with Jeff Bodine and Mark Martin. And here comes Wally Dallenbach off of the corner number 11 once again.
Okay, we got trouble in the inner loop up here.
Well, let's see if we get a second place position change. Yes, Bill, right in front of you.
Mark Martin around Jeff Gordon, and Todd Bodine is off the track, Dorsey.
Yeah, Todd's up here in the inner loop. He came together on the entry with another car and has spun the car. We'll see a replay here. You see him on the brake zone as they come into the corner there. Todd on the inside is going to get into it with the 28 car. We've seen this happen earlier. He gets up on the curb. They bump right there. The car locks up, jumps the curbing. He's come through this inner loop about 2 times, guys, and did not make the corner, so having a lot of trouble up here in the inner loop today.
I tell you, Todd Bodine made a sacrifice right there. He could have run all over Dale Jarrett and didn't do it. They might have touched coming into that turn, but if he'd come on in there and not got up on that curbing the way he did, got his car all out of shape there, we see him moving away now, but he could have wrecked both of them right there.
He was 25th, one lap down, but of course loses all the positions now because of the crash there in the inner loop. John Kernan
was having some kind of problem because we saw Earnhardt just a lap or so ago past Todd Bodine down the front straightaway. Even in Earnhardt's weakest position, he was passing Todd Bodine, so obviously Todd had some type of problem.
Wally Dallenbach has a substantial lead at the moment. Let's check into his pit in John Kernan.
But these guys, Bill Davis, Chris Hussey, they're watching that 6 car because they know that Mark Martin can fly around this track, and there's still plenty of time left. And of course, we told you, Wally breathing the fumes, not feeling very well in that car. But fuel, they were a little bit close, but that caution allowed them to get their window where they can make it with about a half lap to a lap just there. And they talk about Todd Bodine, he has a problem. No brakes, he'll make that hard right-hand turn into the garage area and take it back. No brakes, plus the car was stuck in 4th gear. Let's go down to Jerry Punch. He's with Richard Childress.
Well, you talk about making it. It may be close down here for the Goodrich team. And, Richard, we're seeing some smoke out of your Chevrolet. What's the problem?
Well, you know, we think the transmission's just getting real hot. You know, it may have a little leak in it somewhere, but it's just getting right on the pipe. It's not anything getting on the track.
What have you said to Dale? You've obviously just made him aware that it is smoking. What advice have you given him?
Well, we just now told him to back off a little more and just, you know, try to save it. You know, if we can just finish it, we're going to have a, you know, it'll be better than having to come in here and work on it.
Well, they hope they can hang on. He's got about 13 laps to make it. To make it 12 laps, and Earnhardt has his fingers crossed, but they are doubtful that that car will make it another 12 laps.
If points were awarded right now where they are running, Mark Martin would go into 3rd place, and Dale Earnhardt would slip to 4th. But that, of course, is not the way that things may shake out at the end of this race in 12 more laps.
Caution is out.
Caution is out for some reason. Let's check around the course and see if we can determine why. This is the 3rd caution of the afternoon, tying the fewest number.
Well, that's going to help Mark Martin. He was 5 seconds behind Wally Dallenbach. Now he'll be right up on his bumper. And, of course, it'll help the fuel situation with Jeff Gordon and Wally Dallenbach if there was any question there to begin with. And then running under caution, of course, won't use quite as much fuel.
Well, guys, something I have been observing for the last 4 or 5 laps up here is that Wally Dallenbach's car is leaking a lot of oil, or it's leaking a lot of smoke, I should say, and he's complaining about fumes when he goes through the outer loop. He's got a lot of smoke coming out of him.
So this thing is not over by any means. We have 10 laps to go in this event. The caution is out for the 3rd time. Back with more right after this.